Good evening. I am Tashan Tyson. In with you, we're in with the news package for today, Monday 29th October 2018. In our lead stories, nationally, Nevis Division of Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force presents Youth Perspective on Crime on VON Radio's Let's Talk program. And Nevis's Deputy Premier to represent SKN at Climate Change Forum in Indonesia. Regionally, Grenada's Prime Minister to testify in corruption probe. Internationally, Boeing 737 plane crashes in Sea off Jakarta. And in sports, ball tampering review finds Cricket Australia arrogant and controlling. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, VON.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. The Nevis branch of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is moving to engage the public as it steps up its efforts to deal with the issue of crime and criminality affecting the island and the Federation on a whole. Head of the Nevis branch, Superintendent Lyndon David, will lead a panel which will look at youth perspective on crime on VON Radio's Let's Talk program on Tuesday, 30th October 2018.
What I will be doing is to have that discussion with the youth as to what they think about crime in our federation and most on the island of Nevis. Are they concerned? Do they have a role? What would they have to say to persons who are committing crime? What they will have to say to the nation? What do they have to say to the island of Nevis? Would they encourage youth to be involved in the whole process of crime prevention, maybe crime detection? And the end result is that the youth will listen and be impacted and try to move away from crime itself to make our youth not participate in crime and talk out against criminal activities.
Superintendent Lyndon David. The program will be simulcast with Nevis Television, NTV 8. Deputy Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, left the island today, October 29th, to represent St. Kitts and Nevis at the first ministerial meeting of Archipelagic and Island States AIS Forum in Manado, North Sulawesi Province, Indonesia, from October 31st to November 2nd. The meeting is being hosted by the Government of Indonesia in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, to discuss matters related to climate change issues including floods and rising sea levels. It will provide an opportunity for St. Kitts and Nevis and in Indonesia to work together to effectively address urgent development and environmental issues, as well as strengthen the existing relationship between both countries. Indonesia's government believes the time has come for archipelagic and island states to work together to address common environmental challenges. Indonesia has, therefore, taken the initiative to work towards the establishment of the Archipelagic and Island States Forum. The forum brings together at least 46 countries that are either archipelagos or islands. At the end of the meeting, Mr. Jeffers is expected to return to the Federation on November 4th. He will be standing in for the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Mark Brantley. 17 current and past officers whose services helped to shape the Customs and Excise Department Revenue Collection Agency were recognized for their dedication and commitment to the department. This took place at a gala dinner and award ceremony held at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort on October 27th. The event formed part of a week of activities which was observed under the theme 60 Years of Dedicated Service, Innovation and Advancement. During the ceremony, Keithrick Hendrickson, Eli Webb, and Calvin Powell were honored for accumulating the most years of service among active officers, while Beyond Griffin, Kurth Liebert, Kimoy Carey, and Nishiven Brown were recognized for making the most interdictions in the last 3 years. Retired Comptrollers of Customs Hubert S. Stanley, Sidney B. Williams, Donald Cable, and Norman Williams were all recognized for their contributions to the department. Also honored at Saturday's ceremony were the winners of the Independence Drill Competition, Sharima Stanley, Kajali Gums, Darius Bedford, and Glenroy Phillip, while Keston Herbert was honored for winning the 60th anniversary slogan competition. Students in St. Kitts and Nevis will soon have an additional resource they can call on to assist in their personal development and growth. This with the launch of the National School Chaplaincy Program by the Ministry of Ecclesiastical Affairs. In preparation for the launch, the ministry hosted an October 25th orientation and workshop for more than 40 pastors and church leaders from various faith-based institutions across the Twin Island Federation participating in the National Chaplaincy Initiative. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Ecclesiastical Affairs, Ron Dublin Collins, noted that the motivation for the program came from a desire to offer a Christian response to societal challenges, particularly antisocial activities by young people. He said that some pastors are already working with various schools in the informal capacity, and this initiative seeks to formalize and use a more strategic approach in bringing the church into the school. The National School Chaplaincy Program is expected to be launched in mid-November 2018. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, Nevis Division, has dispelled reports circulating on social media that a male resident of Cane Garden committed suicide. Pictures and a video circulating on social media showed the lifeless body of a man of Indian descent lying on a bed appearing to have taken his own life. Superintendent of the Nevis Division, Superintendent Lyndon David, speaking to the VON Newsline, indicated that the reports are false.
We carried out intensive inquiries into the matter, and all proved that it was false. So we are saying, as we know at this time, that report is false. Based on the information received, it was something that probably emanated out of one of our Caribbean islands. However, we want to encourage persons that these activities should be discouraged and not allowed.
He further encouraged individuals here in the community to desist from disseminating false information.
Those persons who have these or receive these types of, whether it's a video or a photograph, first communicate with the local police so that we can launch an investigation, as opposed to send them around and then it turn out to be false. Because what this does, it puts scare and all sorts of things in the minds of our residents. And then, apart from locally, then internationally, we're going to have where crime is rampant, murders and so forth are rampant in the Federation. When the truth, in fact, is not so. So we want to express at this time that persons who are going about and sharing these photos with malicious intent to discontinue, because it does more harm than good for our Federation.
Superintendent Lyndon David. Minister of Health, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, left the Federation on Friday to attend the 2018 Global Health Forum in the Republic of China, Taiwan. The forum, being held at the Howard Civil Service International House in Taipei City, is an annual event held jointly by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Health, and the Welfare and Health Promotion Administration in Taiwan. It brings together health leaders from around the world to discuss health and welfare challenges. Minister Hamilton was invited to participate in the Ministerial Roundtable on October 28th. The forum is being held under the theme Resilience, New Challenges and Opportunities for Global Health. It will provide a platform for internationally renowned specialists, researchers, health experts, non-government organization NGO leaders, and government health officials to discuss important public health concerns. The Health Forum will feature thematic sessions on topics such as infectious diseases, crises faced by health systems, challenges of natural disasters and humanitarian relief efforts, health literacy, and global disease burdens. The Traffic Department, Nevis Division, in the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, RSCNPF, is seeking the cooperation of bus drivers as new traffic stipulations are implemented. Sergeant Marver Chiverton, who heads the department, says the bus stop signs in and around Charlestown have been erected to mark the drop-off and pick-up points for bus drivers. According to a release from the department, effective October 31st, 2018, the bus stop signs that are erected in and on the outskirts of Charlestown will become operational. Those who do not adhere commit an offense under the Vehicles and Road Traffic Act and will be penalized. Any motor omnibus driver failing to adhere to the bus signs will receive a ticket which will cost $100. Moreover, failure to pay the fine will result in the individual taken before the magistrate's court, where the fine will be much more. It is understood that the signs would help to reduce traffic congestion in Charlestown. The Federal Cabinet has approved a green paper which gives a green light for public consultations to begin for the universal health insurance in St. Kitts and Nevis. The green paper outlines a variety of ideas and policy proposals on how the Universal Health Insurance Coverage Plan, commonly referred to as the National Health Insurance NHI, can function. The preliminary document also invites feedback from interested organizations, groups, and individuals. Chair of the National Health Insurance Commission, Azila Clark, noted that public consultations are expected to begin in early November. The consultations will take the form of town hall meetings, private meetings, and other interactive forums. The committee will also utilize social media and other online platforms to garner as many options as possible. Inputs made during the public consultations on the green paper will inform the way forward for the white paper, which is to set out the final policy details of the Universal Health Insurance Coverage Plan. Minister of Health, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, said he expects the white paper will be available to everyone by the end of 2018. A severe shortage of laboratory technicians. That's one of the problems facing the Ministry of Health and the administration at the Joseph N. France Hospital on St. Kitts. This was disclosed by Minister of State in the Ministry of Health, the Honorable Wendy Phipps, in response to a question posed by an attendee to the Prime Minister's Forum, which was held at the Edgar T. Murray School in Tabernacle, St. Kitts on Sunday night. Minister Phillips spoke on efforts being made to address the situation.
At the moment, JNF is trying to recruit an additional 3 or 4 lab techs because we have one person who has been suspended because of insubordination. Another one has resigned and returned to Trinidad, and we are now in negotiation with the government of Cuba in terms of getting 2 highly trained lab techs here by the end of November. The lab is overflooded with.
It has been reported that persons are being sent to private labs to get certain tests done. Minister Phillips explained why this had to be done.
The lab is overflooded with requests for testing, those types of blood tests for hemoglobin, for things like your level of cholesterol in your bloodstream and so forth. And as a result of that, because of the shortage, the Ministry of Health has had to take the position that it will only be for those patients who are in hospital that we will be doing those extended tests for, because they're already ill, they're in there, and the doctors and specialists would need to have the results.
Minister of State in the Ministry of Health, the Honorable Wendy Phipps. That's our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com, or you can check us out on our social media page on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
That's right. It's that time of the year once again where your bank, the Bank of Nevis Limited, is offering very low interest rate on brand new vehicles. But that's not all. We are offering a discounted bill of sale and your insurance payment will be covered. So visit us today or just dial 869-469-5564 and speak to our very experienced lenders. My bank, your bank, our bank, the Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook.
If you wanna go and take a ride with me, we three willing in the four with the cozies. So why do I live this way? Must be the money.
Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail out of Grenada. Prime Minister of Grenada, Dr. Keith Mitchell, is expected to be among witnesses summoned to testify in a financial wrongdoings and corrupt practices investigation into the Marketing and National Importing Board, MNIB. The probe is being undertaken by the Office of Integrity Commission, and Dr. Mitchell confirmed that he is prepared to be called as a witness. As a state-owned enterprise, the MNIB falls under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Finance, headed by Dr. Mitchell. In July, Dr. Mitchell announced that Cabinet had endorsed a recommendation for a thorough investigation amid revelations of possible inappropriate use of MNIB funds. Dr. Mitchell has also acknowledged that a lot had gone wrong at the MNIB, and following the appointment of a new board in March, the then Chief Executive Officer, Ruel Edwards, left his job for a new post within the Ministry of Economic Development. Out of Barbados. The Board of Directors of the Caribbean Development Bank on Thursday approved a loan of $40.4 million to upgrade infrastructure and services at the Grantley Adams International Airport, GAIA, in Barbados. The Grantley Adams International Airport Pavement Rehabilitation and Expansion Project will support improved quality of infrastructure at GAIA, improve the institutional capacity of GAIA Inc., and reduce energy consumption from pavement lighting at the airport. The project will address aging and weakening airside pavements at GAIA. In addition, it will support the construction of a new apron to meet demand for improved capacity for corporate and other general aviation aircraft, particularly during peak seasonal travel. At GAIA, high-intensity runway and apron lighting contribute to high energy costs. The project will replace existing edge lights and apron lights with light-emitting diode LED fixtures to reduce energy consumption and operational costs. On the land side, parts of the main car park and other roads at the GAIA facility will be rehabilitated or upgraded. The works will also facilitate the installation of charging stations for electric vehicles. And finally, the first United Arab Emirates UAE Caribbean Cooperation Forum will be held in Dubai from November 24 to 26, 2018. The forum will be the first of its kind for the region with the UAE, and the UAE is anticipating strong representation from the public and private sectors of the Caribbean. The three-day event, which will host key government representatives and private sector stakeholders, is designed to create an opportunity to exchange knowledge and experiences, to build strong networks, and to engage in dialogue at the highest level. The aim is not only to discuss the strategic bilateral relationships, but also to identify new areas of cooperation and opportunities in the fields of investment, trade, and culture. Panel and session events will focus on culture, economic partnership, technical development, and Expo Dubai, which is scheduled to be held in 2020. That's it for regional stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. An Indonesian airliner has crashed into the sea with 189 people on board. The Boeing 737, owned by the low-cost airline Lion Air, went down after taking off from the capital, Jakarta. Flight JT610 was headed for the western city of Pangkal Pinang. Rescuers have recovered some bodies and personal items, including baby shoes. The airline CEO, Edward Sirai, said that the plane suffered a technical problem on a previous flight, but it had been resolved.
If the plane was broken, it would have been impossible to release the plane to fly from Denpasar. But as we know, moving objects are vulnerable by the time the aircraft is landing. However, when we received the flight crew's report, we immediately fixed the problem.
A Bangladesh court sentenced former Prime Minister and opposition leader Khalida Zia to 7 years in prison for corruption on Monday, lawyers said, after she was jailed for 5 years in a separate case in February. Khalida's 2 terms will run concurrently, meaning she will spend an extra 2 years in jail and appear to put paid to any chance of contesting general elections in December. But her lawyer said she would appeal against the conviction. More in this report.
A special court in Dhaka announced the verdict against Khalida Zia this morning, right after a plea to the Supreme Court to halt it was denied. Mrs. Zia has already been given a 5-year sentence for embezzling money from an orphanage. She was arrested after that verdict back in February and has been staying in prison since then. Her party, the BNP, and her lawyers rejected the allegations and say the cases are politically motivated. Her convictions will disqualify her from contesting the general election later this year unless she gets permission from higher court.
Germany's Angela Merkel says she will step down as Chancellor in 2021 following recent election setbacks. Her CDU party was severely weakened in elections in the state of Hesse on Sunday, the latest poor performance by parties in a coalition government. She also said she would stand down as CDU leader in the coming days. She has held the post since 2000. The CDU was severely weakened in Sunday's poll in the state of Hesse, the latest in a series of setbacks. Both the CDU and its coalition partners, the Social Democrats, were 10 percentage points down on the previous poll there, even though they remain in power in Hesse. And finally, far-right politician Jair Bolsonaro has won a sweeping victory in Brazil's presidential election. The former army captain won 55.2% of the vote against 44.8% for Fernando Haddad of the left-wing Workers' Party. Mr. Bolsonaro's pledge to fight crime and corruption following a string of scandals has won him mass support.
This government will be a defender of the Constitution, democracy, and of truth. This is a promise not of a party, a vain promise of a man. It is a promise to God.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Just VAT. TDC Automotive is giving you more. Pay no VAT on the first $50,000 on any vehicle. No deposit, no interest for the first 3 months. That's no VAT. No deposit, no interest. We give you more, so you save more. Receive up to $3,000 in cashback credit. Save up to 60% off your insurance premium. Get your personalized TDC token for 2 years of instant savings. Plus, save thousands in free extras. Get more than just VAT from TDC Automotive. We're number 1 for a reason. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to another sports in detail. In cricket, a scathing review into Australian cricket has condemned a winning without counting the cost culture that left players in a glided bubble. The independent report was commissioned by Cricket Australia, CA, after a ball tampering scandal rocked the test team in South Africa in March. The review found that CA was partly to blame and viewed more widely as arrogant and controlling. The governing body said it would accept most of the report's recommendations. The ball tampering incident shocked Australia and led to 12-month suspensions for team leaders Steve Smith and David Warner and a 9-month ban for batsman Cameron Bancroft. It also hastened the departures of coach Darren Lehmann and CA chief executive James Sutherland. In tennis, Elina Svitolina beat Sloane Stephens to claim the biggest title of her career at the WTA Finals in Singapore, the first Ukrainian to be crowned champion. Svitolina recovered from a difficult start to win 3-6, 6-2, 6-2. Stephens, the 2017 U.S. Open champion, controlled the first set, but Svitolina broke 3 times in the second. The 24-year-old then repeated the feat and decided to become the first player to go unbeaten at the tournament since Serena Williams in 2013. Meanwhile, Roger Federer sealed the Swiss indoors title for the 9th time with a 7-6, 7-5, 6-4 victory over Marius Koppel and is now one short of 100 tournament wins. The 37-year-old world number 3, who first won the Swiss title in 2006, was a breakdown in each set to the Romanian Koppel, seeking his first title. But the Swiss beat the world number 93 in 1 hour and 34 minutes. And finally, in baseball, the Boston Red Sox clinched their 9th World Series with 2 games to spare when they beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-1 at Dodger Stadium on Sunday. Steve Pearce was named the series' most valuable player after hitting 2 home runs in a decisive victory. Mookie Betts and J.D. Martinez also scored home runs as the Red Sox took the best of 7 Major League Baseball final 4-1. The Red Sox won a franchise record and MLB best 108 games during the 162nd game regular season and continued that domination in the World Series to win a 4th title in 15 years. Having also lost the 2017 final to Houston, the Dodgers wait for a first World Series since 1988 continues. Their only victory in this year's showpiece came after they won the longest game in the World Series history to make it to 2-1, only to lose the following 2 matches. That's it for sports. The General weather forecast is next. Welcome back. Another local weather forecast for St. Kitts Nevis. Weather tonight will be fair to partly cloudy with a 40% or moderate chance of a brief evening shower. Weather tomorrow will be partly sunny with a 20% of slight chance of a brief shower. Winds are southeasterly at average speeds between 4 to 8 knots or 7 to 15 kilometers, becoming variable or calm in some places tonight. There are low swells at sea with significant wave heights of 1.8 meters or 6 feet tonight and decreasing to less than 5 feet tomorrow. Beach goers are advised to be cautious in the waters east and north of the islands tonight and early tomorrow. Sunrise tomorrow would be at 6:08 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Monday 29th October 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, Nevis Division of Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force presents Youth Perspective on Crime on VON Radio's Let's Talk program. And Nevis's Deputy Premier to represent SKN at Climate Change Forum in Indonesia. Regionally, Grenada's Prime Minister to testify in corruption probe. Internationally, Boeing 737 plane crashes in Sea off Jakarta. And in sports, ball tampering review finds Cricket Australia arrogant and controlling. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashwan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.